This guy right here is Raymond. He's quite representative of the average guy. Like, I think a lot of men can relate to him, they can see themselves in him, except that he shows his face, he complains on camera, and does it in an entertaining way. His is his YouTube channel, by the way. I'm not going to be mean to him like his average commentator, you know, giving him backhanded comments like starting off with, oh, we love you, but then your shirt is shit. Because I do not believe that the problem lies within his shirt choice, because a Chad can pull a chick in any shirt possible, okay? I don't think that's his problem. But yes, this is unsolicited advice. You can just not take it, okay? You can ignore the video, just continue with their life as if nothing happened. But if you're interested in knowing exactly what his problem is, therefore the problem of the majority of men, and what I think one should do about them, you're welcome. In this video, I'm going to talk about different concepts like the covered contracts and the other phenomenon I could not name yet, but that's basically where someone is trying to adapt the solution to his liking rather than applying the situation that is most efficient. I'm going to develop this in the video. For now, just put a like under the video, dislike, whatever, just to interact, right? Back to the video. Now, for those who don't know who Raymond is, I highly suggest you check his YouTube content. But I have checked out few of his videos, I have been on 2 lives of his, and I quite understood what his main issue is. Basically, his main complaint is that he have not had any in the last decade. He's like 36, 37, if I remember correctly, and he's having a hard time with girls, which is the majority of men, let's say, okay? But the real reason for the extra frustration that he has is that he thinks that he did everything he needs to do to get some, and he did not get any. Now he feels betrayed, frustrated, and I'm gonna talk about this. Here, guys, we have a perfect example of what a covered contract is. You take any problem, it doesn't matter which one, right? Instead of backtracking to find the solution, you just think of any solution that could probably solve another problem, but not the problem that is actually in front of you. So, for his case, his problem is getting girls. And we right here in this sphere, we know exactly what you need to get girls. You need to look better. There is no workaround about it. You can just improve in your looks, or you can like geomax and find an easier market, right? Like go to Asia or some market where you have less competition. I'm not gonna talk about all these solutions here. If you have watched any of my videos, I think you know what I think, what you need to do. But what did he do instead? And he talks about this in all his videos, in his live streams. He renovated a house and bought another house and got his finances together. And he thinks that now he's supposed to be appreciated for it. Yeah, there's a problem in here because no one has promised you anything. And I'm not being mean to him because I would be impressed with the house that he renovated or the fact that he got himself a YouTube channel. That's impressive for me, but he does not need my validation. He needs the validation of women. That's what he needs. So why didn't he ask himself, what do women value? Because there is a projection here that happened because he's expecting women to like what he liked. So to himself, he thought that it is cool to do X, Y, and Z. So he did X, Y, and Z. He's expecting women to appreciate him for that, but they didn't, and now he's frustrated. Do you understand what is a covered contract now? Why it's called a covered contract? Because he signed it kind of with himself. There is no one to complain to right now. So he did this, it did not work, and now he's frustrated. Do you know the best example of this next to this one? It would be the gym maxing. A lot of people go to the gym, they gym max, which probably works for the male gaze, right? So he looks better for the male gaze, but his face or his height did not improve. He does not get girls as a result of his gym maxing, and now he's frustrated and said like, where are all the girls? I thought I was promised girls. Yeah, but well, at least in this case, someone lied to you, right? They told you like, go to the gym and you will attract women. Someone lied to you. But in this case of Raymond, no one lied to him. He kind of supposed himself that women will like him if he gets his shit together financially. I mean, it's not bad to have your financial shit together, but that's nowhere near as fixing like teeth or hair or like any other extreme measure that will improve your looks. But more on that later. We are still on the covert contract thing. The supposition, like the word supposed, is the key here, because girls are supposed to like you when you do X, Y, and Z. That is the problem, because if I suppose something and I believe in it deeply and I say like, okay, if I become a doctor, which basically happened to me, okay? If I become a doctor, I will have an easier time with girls. Then I became a doctor and it did not help. So when I was a med student, I was thinking like, okay, maybe this potential thing doesn't work. I need to actually become a doctor for girls to like me. Then I became a doctor and I became a specialist and I started working in a clinic, and it did not affect girls much. Why? Because I did not ask, I would not backtrack from what the girls want. I just found something convenient for myself. Then I ended up being frustrated. Well, later I learned the truth of what the girls actually want and I worked toward that, and that helped me. But again, we have different SMVs. This is not even the subject. I'm just using an example, okay? So if for the case of Raymond, in my opinion, I know he did not ask for it. I'm just saying that in my opinion, what should have he done different? Well, it's pretty straightforward. It might sound brutal to him if he's watching. Maybe he will watch this, I don't know, but it sounds brutal to him. But for me, it's something very basic. Fix your teeth, fix your hair, gain some muscle. Okay, you can tell me that, what do you mean by muscle? This one is the easiest one to fix. He's been going to the gym for the last 4 years. Well, going harder or something, I'm going to just believe that he actually did work hard. Well, what's the thing? Well, he's 37. If I was in his position and I worked out for 4 years straight in the gym and it did not work for me, I will hop on TRT. Brutal, right? But again, life is hard. You were not born that guy. You were not born with the winning cards. You're not gonna play. I mean, it's your choice. If you think like it is over, you don't want to do anything about it, you give up on like women and dating and the whole thing. But if you're complaining, it means that you want it. If you want it, I mean, if you're just venting, that's like what women do, I think. But if you're actually complaining because you want to do something, I'm telling you, it's not gonna be some easy solution that you're gonna like. And that's the key. For teeth, it's gonna be like orthodontics, thousands of dollars, probably going back to that again. And you think like, whoa, but I got my financial situation like positively. Why will I ruin it now? Well, because that's what will make girls attracted to you. If that's not what you want, then you can shift what you want. Then that's a whole other conversation. But without guys confusing you too much, this is not a looks maxing video. All I'm saying is like, you don't have enough muscle, you do TRT. You have bald hair, you do like hair transplant. If you don't have enough grafts, you just do the SMP. You just do the SMP. I know it's not simple, but yeah, if it was simple, everyone would have done it and it would have no meaning in the end. Fix your teeth like orthodontics, like make your teeth like without any spaces like this. But Raymond doesn't want to hear any of that. He does not enjoy this conversation. He probably would click off this video before he reached this point. He doesn't want to do any of this. Why? Because of the second thing I'm going to talk about in this video, which is tailoring the solution to how you feel rather than using the most optimal pragmatic solution. And tailoring the solution according to your feelings turns it into a cope. I'm going to repeat this again. Tailoring the solution that someone tells you it's like supposed to work, like here's the solution. If you start tailoring it to a comfortable solution, like how I would want to do this without feeling this, without spending money, without doing this, it becomes a cope. That's what copes are basically. You look at the solution and you try to make it fit your life, fit what you want to do, instead of just taking it as is and trying to change your life so you can incorporate that solution into it. With Raymond right here, it would be the GeoMax situation, because a lot of people are telling him to go to Asia, Southeast Asia, just go Passport Bro Max, because he's a tall white guy and he might get some there. Go to Asia, and he refuses. Why? Because he wants to stay with his parents, which is commendable. I'm not saying this is the wrong thing to do, but since he's complaining about the lack of female intimacy, I want to ask, so you want to stay with your parents and get girls. That is the situation of a winner. That is a Chad's position. It is only like 5% of people who can live wherever they want to live and they can get girls locally. That is the position of a teeny tiny minority of men, less than 5%. We clearly have established that you are not that guy. You say it yourself. You're not a Chad. Okay, so here we have a situation of wanting to eat the cake and having it too. And I'm going to prove it with the second excuses he uses for the same problem. Other than wanting to stay close to his parents, he says that he does not like Asian girls, which is fine. That is his choice. Everyone is free to like whatever they want to like. But he mentioned not wanting to have mixed children, which is again fine. Everyone is free to want whatever they want. But when they talk to him about going to the church to meet girls locally, he says that he wants to have casual flings with them. Okay, so why when we're talking about girls from your community, you say that you want something casual, but when they're telling you about passport bro maxing, you're talking about it being too serious and you don't want to have children with Asian women? Why not the opposite? Okay, I'm asking questions, but I honestly know the answer. It's because with the girls from your community, you want to have casual relationships until you decide to commit one day. Like you have the freedom, like you want to commit, you don't want to commit. Everything is in your hand. But again, that is the position of a Chad. That is the position of a winner. You were not dealt these cards. You have other cards. You don't have the cards that guarantee the win regardless of how you play. You have regular cards that, I mean, you can refuse to play. Again, I will keep repeating this throughout the video. You can just give up and say like, I have a bad position. I don't want any of this, but we are establishing that you want some. So expecting the Chad treatment of like, I want to live with my parents. I want my girlfriend to be this specific ethnicity. And I want her to want to be in the relationship with me, but I refuse to be in the relationship with her until like one day I say like, okay, I'm done playing. Now I want a relationship. Like, this is a position of a Chad. We all know this here. I don't know if you do, but this is the position of few select men. And I'm not saying this as an insult, but we have to be reasonable. If I say that I want a 3-floor house on the beach with a pool, near the city, in the best city ever, and I don't want it to be expensive, a lot of people will call me crazy. Why? Because what I asked for is unreasonable. Such a house, although it might exist, it cannot be cheap. It's going to be expensive 100% of the times. This is exactly what you're saying. You want a deal that is too good to be true, that only few billionaires, in your case few Chads, can allow themselves to have. And what is my problem with wanting to eat the cake and having it too? Well, in my opinion, people who have this position should not be allowed to complain. And I'm going to convince you why. Because you know that we complain about women that they want Chad to commit to them. You know, the guy who has all the option in the world, they want him to abandon all these options and commit to her sorry ass. Why? These women are delusional. That's what we call them. They think that they are all Giga Stacy's and they are worthy of Chad's love. By the way, even a real Giga Stacy does not get the exclusivity of a Giga Chad because of how rare they are. Like, we all know that there are a lot of more Stacys than Chads, but again, this delusion of an average girl thinking that she's worthy of a Chad is the same delusion of wanting a white girl in Ohio to be in love with you, that she allows you a casual thing until your highness decides like, okay, it's maybe time for me to commit, and then you marry a young virgin white girl from your city. It is too much to ask. Yes, it is too much to ask. For like your cards, the genetic cards that you have been dealt at the start of your life, this is too much to ask. You want a white woman in Ohio to let you live with your parents, to appreciate your financial situation, the fact that you're renovating the house. You're saying, is this too much to ask? And in my opinion, yes. Do I want it to be that way? Do I want you to suffer in life? No, but we are analyzing life as is, not as some ideal we have in our mind that we want to apply to life. That's called an ideology. No, I do not work on ideologies. I just look at the life as it is not as it should be or I want it to be, and then I draw conclusions and I try to backtrack to find solutions from there. That's how I function. That's how I train myself to function. I was not always this way. That's why I have this channel, Guidance Vault. You can subscribe. I am trying always to find solutions that are pragmatic, effective, drawn from real life, not like from some ideology to apply. Then when they don't work, you end up frustrated and like tearing your hair and wondering why this doesn't work. Well, there was no guarantees. When a covered solution doesn't work, you have no one to complain to. There is no lawyer, there is no hotline. You cannot like pick up the phone and say like, hey, I renovated the house and I went to the gym for 3 years. Why I'm not surrounded with bitches? Where are my bitches? No, that's not how it works. You need to do what you need to do. Like you need to determine what needs to be done. Then you either accept the deal and start working towards it. Maybe you fail, maybe it works, but then at least you went to the right direction. Because if you have a covered contract, even if you do everything that you set yourself to do, you will have zero result because you started on the solution that was not even directed to the problem you had. I can tell you for sure that no woman is interested in the renovation work you did in the house. No matter how hard it was, no matter how much money you spent, no matter how much effort you put into this. I would appreciate it. If you show me your house, I will enjoy it. I will tell you like, oh, I see you did this. Oh, that's interesting. How did you do that? How much did this take you? But you do not care for my validation. You said it yourself. You don't care what I want because I'm a man. You're interested in women. But women are not interested in those things. Why do you want them to change what they want for you? How narcissistic is this of you? And I'm saying this again with all the respect in the world. If you make fun of women for wanting a Giga Chad to abandon all the options he has just for her, then at least have the decency to not have the same level of delusion from the other side. You don't want to listen to us, people from this side of the community. We tell you like, hey, it's either you looks max, or if you do not have the basics to ascend, then maybe give up. Okay, giving up, at least you know your position, right? But you refuse to listen to our logic. You refuse to listen to our solution. You make up your own solutions. When they don't work, you end up frustrated, yelling at a video cam and saying like, oh, I'm a laughing stock, I'm a laughing stock. A lot of people relate to you because they have been doing exactly the same thing you've been doing. They've been either asking women like, hey, what do I do to attract women? And they have been giving like some blue pill bullshit advice, or they have been thinking for themselves, trying to understand like from the little experience they have with women, and like they ask questions and they find themselves in these weird bubbles where they come up with weird solutions that are unnecessarily complicated, like do this, do that, gain money, make money, no, it's about looks. It's as easy as this. If you look like a 5, let's say for example, I'm not saying Raymond is a 5, I'm not gonna give him a number, but let's say he increases his SMV by 2 points by getting an SMP, by fixing his teeth, and by going on TRT. Then he's gonna have a better dating life. That's my opinion, but I believe that it is the truth. Come on, guys. We all know that it will improve his dating life. He's tall enough. He's very, very smart man, and he's very competent, and he's very eloquent. I enjoy his videos. He has good speech skills. I don't think he has any mental problems. I think all the depressions he has are because of the lack of intimacy, but then I don't want to open this kind of worms. Let me go back to my subject, please. We fix the goal. We know what you want. You want to attract women. What are you going to do about it? You're going to renovate a house? No. Are you going to make money? That's a little bit better, but still no. What you need to do is to find the solution to the things that are stopping you from getting women. Not the things that you think does that. Not what you think is stopping you from getting women, but what actually is stopping you from getting women, which is basically teeth, hair, muscle, and of course, the location. What you need to do for like looks maxing, I'm not gonna turn this into a looks maxing video, but for the location, you will need to learn a new language. You need to learn how to live far away from your parents. But those are the sacrifices that need to be done. You have already accepted that you are not born a Chad, okay? You have inferior genetics to the optimal male. Now, do you accept this position and you accept that you're not gonna get anything good in life? or you want to try something because you still have a chance. Let's say you're a white tall guy. It will not be with the girl that you imagine in mind. It's not gonna be the blonde Stacy that you see in the movies. It's not gonna be a crazy genuine desire for you, but it is better than what you actually have, which is nothing. If you say, I don't want to do this is not worth it for me, I don't like this deal, then fine, but at least you made the conscious decision that you don't want this deal. I'm just telling you what the deal is. Now, whether you take it or not, you're completely free. I respect your choice. Again, I know that this is unsolicited advice, but this could be useful to other people who are watching. This is not directed to Raymond himself. This is to every man who is in his position. If I stick to my cards analogy, if you were dealt a winning hand, you're gonna win no matter what the order of the cards you play. But if you were not dealt a winner hand, you decide on what your next moves are carefully. A Chad does not need to learn how to play. He's gonna win anyway. But for you, you need to learn how to play. You can't refuse to learn, like say, like, I don't want to learn this game, and expect the Chad life to come to you. Like, this is women logic. Like, if I want something so hard, like I want it so bad, the chances of it manifesting gets higher. Like, if I want something so bad, there is a higher chance that it happens. This is actually how women think. Like, they sit down, and the stronger, the more they crave something, the more it manifests in the universe. So you're gonna sit on stream and complain and yell for the Chad life, and somehow that will manifest Chad life for you to come. Like, a white girl will start appreciating for who you are. That's the curse of the covert contract. You're building so many expectations in your own head that you disappoint yourself. You are being disappointed with the expectations that you put in your own head. Like, you sat there and you complained about not having a local girl all over you. You thought about that, you got angry about it, and now you're frustrated because it did not manifest in real life. Do you see how harmful such line of thinking is? If you have watched so far, I'm going to tell you about what I'm going to talk about in the next video. It's gonna be the most brutal video on YouTube, and I mean it. I'm going to talk about this point. If there is no solution to the problem, then it is not a real problem. Basically, how it is like designed that way and it works that way, and there is no problem. Since there is no fixing, there is no problem. That's gonna be my next video. Thank you for watching. I hope Raymond doesn't get mad at me. And I also hope that people stop giving him unsolicited advice, virtue signaling, like telling him about his shirt and whatever. I'm making a lot of wishes, but honestly, how strong do I have to hope for something so it changes the real world? Like, it manifests and makes actual changes. Yeah, this was Guidance Vault, and I'm retreating.